into Suite 3 and one of my very favorite stories, Morte d'Arthur, or The Death of Arthur. Um, I love the whole Excalibur, Sword and Stone, King Arthur, Lancelot, Guinevere kind of thing. It's just that whole romantic notion of knights in shining armor and loyalty and courage and bravery and love and lust. And you've got Morgana, who's Arthur's sister, who sleeps with them, makes him think that she's Guinevere, and sleeps with them, and Lancelot, who really fights the urge because he's fallen in love with his best friend's, wife, girlfriend. It's great. It's a great story. Part of the reason the story is so great is because the true love story here, and it's not a gay thing, but the true love story here is between Arthur and Lancelot. It's that. And I think in the military, you could probably understand it more. I think that's the greatest sign and show of love, is to be willing to lay your life down for someone. And these two men have this incredible connection. And yet, again, and you'll see it over and over again, women are the villains. Pisses me off a little bit, but the writers saw what they saw, and again, you have to remember what was happening in the context of the time in which they were written. Women were considered vile and evil, and if you wanted to lose your money, lose your lands, if you wanted to lose your mind, a woman would somewhere be at the root of that loss. And it continues like that for quite a ways. Again, up until, Walt Disney. Don't get me started on Walt. Uncle Walt and I are not friends. Because if you think about it, all of Walt Disney's, I'm not talking about the recent Disney influx, but all of Walt Disney's villains, I think all but one are women. I mean, there's no greater evil than Cruella de Vil. Think about it. Think about the classic Disney bad girls. I have a mug that has them all on it. Anyway, when you see this, you've got, and you have Guinevere, who pretty much tears asunder this relationship between these two men, and you have Morgana, who is the penultimate evil, nasty woman. What does that say about where women's roles were and how they were perceived? Keep that in mind. It's a great story. It's a love story. It's one of the first fantasies of these robust knights, and there's magic, and there's spells, and there's betrayal, and there's purity, and the good versus evil, that kind of stuff. So it has a lot to it. Not an easy read, because it was translated from French, which is why you're not reading all of it, but have fun with it. And really think about the questions, and as you discuss back and forth, I really want to see that you at least made the attempt to get into that text. You can read Excalibur, you can read a lot of different, because there's so many different translations of it and variations of it, but I really want you to try to stick with that text. Again, reading this a little bit easier. At least for this you have some foundation of the story. You've heard it before, somewhere along the line. Even if it's just a sword and stone, but it is one of my very favorites. If you haven't ever watched Excalibur and you are a fan of this genre, you have to see it. If for any other reason, because Merlin has some of the greatest lines ever spoken in Hollywood. One of my very favorites, I'll just give this as an example, is when a man lies, he murders some part of the world. I hate the lie. Also, it is the doom of man that he forgets. So, if you haven't seen it, if you want some good background, it will truly show you what this week's reading is all about. Stay safe, have a great week.